Let's get started. This is Prashant Kumar from Cashflow Champs. So today we are going to talk about raising capital and syndication. This is a very vast topic, and I'm just telling you upfront, guys, because I've been doing it for so many years. This is a very vast topic, and I'm going to give you as much knowledge as you can absorb about how to raise capital and syndication. Now it's up to you to go back and implement it in your businesses, take some nuggets, and hopefully it will help you out. We at Cashflow Champs are helping investors to gain financial freedom through passive investing in real estate. That's our goal here at Cashflow Champs. Little disclaimer, I'm not an attorney, not a financial advisor, tax advisor, or an accountant. The purpose of this webinar is for informational purposes only. If you need advice, seek some professional, So this is just for entertainment purposes and information sharing purposes only. Just a little bit about myself. Obviously I'm married, 2 kids, live in Long Island, New York. I'm managing partner at Cashflow Champs. I have consulted in IT companies, in IT areas of many multinational companies over 25 years. At Cashflow Champs, we have more than $150 million in assets under management, 1,650 doors plus. I personally co-host the podcast that we have, Cashflow Champs Real Estate Podcast. I have had personally about 2,000 units in past. I currently have about 1,000 units in my portfolio. My passion is to meditate. I meditate regularly. I love multifamily and assisted living space just because of the fact that I love helping everybody. That is just about myself. And obviously, I'll share my contact details in the end of the webinar. And, here it is. If you guys want to connect with us with Cashflow Champs, we have many ways you can connect with us. Just if you want to talk to us, schedule a call with us, okay? We can guide you, free call with us. We can guide you in whichever direction you want to go, passive or active. That's the leftmost QR code. We have free underwriting sessions that we do on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And we have been doing it for last 3-4 years. Every Saturday is totally free, no obligation at all. Actually, no obligation on anything. Feel free to connect with us, register yourself. That's the middle QR code. And at Cashflow Champs, we offer coaching also. If you want to talk to one of our representative, and again, this is, you can have a free Empire call, free Cashflow Champs Empire call with us just by scanning the rightmost QR code, and we can set up a plan for you. It's just totally free. Just talk to us and see if it makes sense. So we are here to give value to you, absolutely free, okay? So 3 QR codes, and scan any of 3 of them, take a screenshot or whatever you need to do. All right, so let's start with the webinar. We will cover today how to acquire new investors and how to approach them, right? How to build rapport with them, and how do we offer opportunities when they come up, right? You continue to build your investors database, and how do you offer opportunities to your investors? And then, of course, how do you maintain ongoing relationship with them, and much more. I mean, we are here to discuss as much as anybody can absorb, okay? All right, I'm gonna talk, these are my talking points. Basically, there are various ways in this business, we connect with new investors. The most prominent is organic leads. The day you start business of raising capital, the way you start the syndication business, you have to let your friends and family members know about that. You are here to communicate. The more you communicate, better it is. It is not something that you want to hide. Let people know that what you are doing, okay? It is very important because you never know. Anybody could be your investor. There are a lot of people have money which is sitting, they are hurting, they have pain points. So your goal is to let everybody know that you are working in multifamily area. The best thing I do is I create a video of myself for about 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes. And rather than calling 50 friends, I just send them the video by text. If I have, my phone book is about, 1,500, 2,000 people, but that's how I suggest. Even if you have 300-400 people, you send that video text to 15-20 people a day, 15-20 contacts a day. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to let your friends and family members know what you are doing. You are not pitching anything, okay? Next thing is you have to start networking. Networking at least once a quarter. There are a lot of networking events. Cash Flow Champs have networking events. We have meetups, but meetups are not like real networking events. I'm more talking about joining, going to one of these weekend boot camps. So there are a lot of them out there. If you want to know more, you let us connect with us. We can give you the list of them. And you should try to go at least once per quarter. So if you give yourself for beginning, for starters, give yourself a year, at least go to 3-4 events in a year. You should start social media posting, postings. You should have your business page, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And if you're good with videos, start making some TikTok videos. A lot of people are making TikTok videos. We personally are not doing it, but social media postings, joining a lot of groups and meaningful groups. Once you go to a networking event, typically people try to form a WhatsApp group or a networking group for that event. So be proactive there. You have to start doing webinars, like what we are doing. You have to start doing webinars. You have to start warming up your leads. You have to come across as a subject matter expert. You are doing this for a long time and you associate yourself with those who are doing it for a long time. At some point you want to think of joining a mastermind, which will definitely help you. If you are alone, if you do not have that much contact, the important thing is to leverage others' contacts. And how do you do that? Connecting with them, basically. Connecting with, folks, networking within your mastermind. So it's always suggested that if you are new, join a mastermind so that you accelerate your journey into multifamily world. I'm talking in terms of those who are starting early in this business, but those who have been in this business, of course, there are different kind of masterminds. Few are for starters, few are for those who are already established. So masterminds are the best ways to share ideas because you don't have time. If you are already established, you don't have time to go talk to somebody, discuss things, unless you take time out of your busy schedule and go meet somebody and discuss how you can do things better. As you continue to grow, I always suggest start a meetup, start a webinar or a podcast. host or be hosted or be a guest on somebody else's podcast. So idea is that, spread yourself out as much as you can, right? Let everybody know that you are doing this. Similarly, as I said, host an event or attend events at least once a month, at least once a, people usually do more than that. They attend many meetups, and some of them attend like multiple meetups a week, depending upon where you are. If you are in New York City and and it is accessible, there are hundreds of meetups there. But if you are away from the city, maybe you have only one meetup where you meet different people. The other thing is, cold calling. You cold call, establish contacts, but those are not warm leads. I have not had much success yet. I'm being frank with you up front here with everybody. Cold calling helps, but it may not give you the best bang for your efforts. So these are the different ways, and there are many other ways of networking, putting yourself out there. The fundamental fact is put yourself out there. And these are organic leads, okay? In addition to that, you can do paid advertising, in addition to streaming your webinars live, your meetups live, or networking events live on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can do paid advertising also. Come across as a subject matter expert in this business on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google, and that could bring your leads. But it depends, what kind of advertising you want to do. If you are doing only 5 or 6 C deals, then you can talk about deals openly. If your business is in 5 or 6 B area, there you cannot talk about deals openly. You cannot talk about returns. However, you can still gather leads as subject matter expert or somebody who does business. You cannot talk about projections or anything like that. So if you need more information, we can discuss that more. But paid advertising is also a way through which you can generate some leads. So you get organic leads. You can have paid advertising leads. What do we do? What do you do with those leads? Okay, so let's see, how do you approach investors? So approaching an investor, okay, when you are talking to investor on the first time, you don't want to be talking too much about yourself. Okay, before your first call, you got the leads. Okay, let's say you got the leads from your paid advertising campaign. Now, or through organic campaign or to meet up or whatever, you agree to talk for a few minutes, whichever way. Now the call is on your calendar. Before the call occurs, what I would do is, rather than repeating everything, every time, I usually would send a small webinar about myself, like a 3 minutes or 5 minute webinar, right? Just about yourself. What do you do? What is your experience? So that there's no confusion, right? And what is this call about, right? You kind of mentioned that in the webinar. We are meeting, we are here to build rapport and see what are your goals. So they are kind of prepared what is the purpose of the call. And the first call is about them. You want to know what are their goals. You are there to build some rapport, with them. So you want to ask about questions like, what are the general experience in general investing or in multifamily investing, and what are the pain points they are going through. You understand that point from them within 10 minutes maybe, and then basically, in the beginning of the call, you tell them, guys, that I'm going to talk. I have hard stop in 15 minutes. You don't want to go into strategy session in that call. You want to understand their goals. You want to understand their pain points. You have already sent them your video. They must have watched it. And the first call is about them, making them feel comfortable. Okay. After that, in the end of the call, you should say that based on what we have discussed, sounds like we should meet again. And try to put something on the calendar. What day and time would be good for you to have another call? I'm just giving one method, okay? I'm not saying that this is the only method. I'm just sharing what has worked with us and what potentially could work for you also. Send a small webinar before the first call, have a 15 minutes call. On that 15 minute call, basically make sure you understand their goals, understand their points, and by the end of the call, just schedule a second call on the calendar right away. No going back and forth. That would be the best use of your time. And whenever the second call occurs, 3 to 5 days, you go to the second call. In the beginning of the call, you would restate the goals that you had noted down from that investor. So you say, based on, we are having this call because, you had these goals, you want to go to 100 units, you are committed, or you want to basically invest passively, or you want to make your money work for you, and whatever the goal is from the investor. Okay. And whether you have a deal or not, you tell them, depending upon whether it is 506B or 506C. But typically, if I don't have a deal, I would say that, hey, listen, we don't have a deal right now, but typically whenever we have a deal, typically it gets filled up very quickly. You kind of let the investor know, or, on the call that, would you be interested in joining our investor list and being notified as soon as we have a deal? So you are trying to create an urgency, you're trying to put them onto our list, on your investors list, and tell them, as soon as we have a deal, those who have agreed to be notified first will get the first option, first chance to have a look at the deal, and would have the option to invest. So make them feel privileged in a way that you would have 1 week's time, or 3 days or 5 days time to opt into that deal, basically. In that call, you talk about yourself also a little bit. You talk about your track record. If you are new, you talk about your partner's track record, that you have been out there for 7 years. You have done business in so many states. You have so many properties. This is our track record. Historically, this is what we have been able to produce for our investors. And you are discussing that with your investor. And basically, if you are new and you are working with a group, you want to take your main deck and then put yourself as a general partner also. So there are different ways you can handle, and everybody's situation is different. So I am trying to give a broader vision. Always have 2 calls, wherever the lead is coming from. Once again, the lead came in, you had a 15 minutes introduction call, more about investor. But before that call, you sent a webinar to them. And in that call, you asked them to have a second call. In the second call, you restate investors' goals. You ask them the questions like, do you want to be notified when we have a deal? Just for you to have a look at it. And, you would have option to invest if you want. So kind of make them feel like they are preferred investors, right? You tell them your track record, your record, and tell them a little bit about the deals. Typically what kind of deals do you do? We typically do, 7% pref, 70-30 split after that, very nominal acquisition fees, things like that, and tell them, the industry standards, give them the industry standards, and show them the consistency, So that's how you would approach an investor in 2 calls. And again, this is not just the only way, but this is something which works. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. All right. So basically, when the deal comes, sorry, I wrote it wrong, maintain ongoing relationship with the investor. That's not what. So when the deal comes, the slides heading is actually when the deal comes, what happens? So you have a deal and you want to send it to your preferred investors, right? The investors who have already agreed upon. So what I would do is, yes, we do webinars, etc. But what I do is I create a small teaser, so kind of teaser presentation, a webinar kind of a thing, and then I send it to my preferred investors, the investors who had opted in to be notified. So maybe 10 to 15 minutes of a recording, send it to the preferred investors, and we create urgency, basically we say that, guys, this is something which is hot. We are giving you the first chance to look at it and see whether you are willing to invest. And basically do the email campaign or SMS campaign and send that deal through SMS or through email, that webinar through email or SMS, and do it multiple times, because you are giving them 3 to 5 days. So typically you would start that on Wednesday and give them 2 to 3 days. And one email goes out or one SMS campaign goes out on Wednesday, then you would send another one on Friday, and then one on Sunday. And you want to say that, by Sunday evening, this deal is going live to other investors. And, you want to be willing, if you are willing to invest, please do the commit. So, these are the preferred investors, they want to be notified. So, and potentially one on Sunday evening also. So maybe 3 or 4 emails and SMS within that small window. Okay. Trust me, this thing works, because you have gotten their attention, not once, not twice, maybe three or 4 times. And you have told them this probably will get filled sooner. If you do that, I cannot guarantee what results you will get, but you will get some results. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, week 2, do a webinar for your regular investors, right? So you have 1,000 people, you had, let's say 100 preferred investors. For them, you also already did that small webinar. Then you have week 2, where you are doing a regular webinar, for all the investors that you have. If you tell 5-6B, you can only invite the ones with whom you have substantial relationship with. Those are in your investor list. But if you are a 5 or 6C, you can do the postings on internet, basically. That could be your email, that could be your ad campaign through which you can get the leads. And those leads that you get, you can send them, again, a smaller webinar or bigger webinar that you would do. So, but the basic idea is, when you do this, you always create urgency. Do emails and SMS also work nowadays. Do not send too big of a webinar. Put the webinar at a Dropbox location or something and send that Dropbox location, so that people can watch the webinar themselves. So again, yes, Deepa Mathur said, I was just looking at the Q&A box. So guys, feel free to ask any questions in between. But the basic idea, again, this slide is actually how to offer deals to your investors. One method is, definitely you want to reach out to your preferred investors, give them some time for opt-in, let them join your offering. So you are giving them an option, basically. So they are preferred investors. Second is, then you would do a regular webinar and keep the recording of the webinar handy, because there would be times, where, you would have a lot of calls. Okay. If you are new, you would be calling everybody. And there's nothing bad about that calling, but you want to save your time. You want to respect your time also. So better thing is try to automate as much as you can. Try to do a webinar which has information, substantial information, and email opening rate is a little less. Try to do the SMS campaign. So I'm talking about a lot of things here, guys. And I know when you have a deal, you do not have time to do everything yourself. So first thing I usually suggest that you should have a capable virtual assistant who knows not everything, maybe at least 50 to 70% of what you want to do, so that they can do it for you. Trust me, that money that you will spend on a virtual assistant will get paid off within a year. Initially, it may pinch you, whatever you'll pay $1,000 or whatever, $1,600, $1,500, something like that per month. But in the end of the year, in the grand scheme of things, that would be worthwhile. Somebody is working for you 8 hours a day, 2,000 hours a year, and they are doing a lot of things done for you while you are really doing the business. So a lot of work is needed in this business, and I'm a big proponent of VAs who can help us streamline our life, basically. So any questions? Let me check the Q&A box. David is asking, what is the difference between preferred investor and regular investors? So that is something, David, we do. Basically, preferred investor is somebody who has opted in. See, our database is big, right? So not everybody is an investor. So somebody who has opted in and said, hey, listen, I'm very interested and I have the capital. So, and I want to be notified. So we try to keep a list of those who have explicitly said that they want to be notified and they want to take the first stab. They want to look at the deal on a preferential basis. So the calls that I'm doing, whomsoever I have talked to, they go on my preferred investor list. I mean, we maintain another list also, which is, I don't want to go there, for high net worth individuals. But those who explicitly said that they want to know about our deals, as soon as they come out, I keep them in my preferred investor list so that I give them an opportunity to commit for the deal before I send it out to everybody in my mailing list. In addition to that, if we do a 506C kind of a deal, I would, the regular people will come in through the 506C advertising campaign, and they would go into our regular investor list. Unless we have talked to anybody, we don't put them in preferred investor list, just so that you know. So for Charles is asking, how much do you charge for coaching? So Charles Van Wyck, Charles, do me a favor, if you don't mind, scan the QR code, or I would have somebody reach out to you. It's difficult for me to say how much we charge for coaching. But one thing about coaching is, and again, I'm not trying to sell it here, we make our journey faster. The journey which took me personally 3 years, if it could get compressed in 6 months or in a year's time, wouldn't be that worth. Plus, I get access to all the resources that other people have created. So, to my mind, coaching is definitely a way to jumpstart your career in this business. So Charles, reach out to scan our QR code and reach out to us, or in the meantime, maybe we will have somebody reach out to you also. So yeah, how to maintain the ongoing relationship with investors. Okay, those who have invested with you, monthly communication is must. You want everybody to know that you are working while their money is invested. That's the fundamental. If you are not good with your communication, it's not good. I mean, how would it feel if you invest somewhere and you don't get a report? So a timely report, progress report every month is very, very is the key component, of maintaining the relationship with the investors. There should not be any sugar coating, in your communication. I mean, you don't want to go into details like the plumber didn't show up, and and I could not, and I did not get that fixed, right? You are not talking about that, but at a high level, you should be clear about the direction. If there is a bad news of some sort, you should let your investors know and let them know about the solution of the bad news. It's not just the bad news that is needed. It's basically the solution of what you have, what you're going to do to solve that issue. That should be there in the email also. Be there, basically when investor sends you a text or call you, respond to that. You cannot ignore that, because it is not a good practice. How would I feel if I invested with you and you don't respond to my emails or my phone calls? So show up means be available, be responsive. Whether you respond or somebody else in your team responds, be there. Okay, it is an important piece of the puzzle that people should know that they can call you anytime. You are accessible. And if your property is cash flowing and distribute monthly, I mean, nothing is better than our investors getting a monthly check, whether it is a small amount, doesn't really matter. If you can do that, do it, because every time investors looking at their bank statement or on computer screen, if they see money is coming in, whether it is $5, $50, $100, whatever it is, they feel good about it. They are remembering about you. Oh my God, I'm getting $100 a month from this investment which I did. It's a good deal. Let me invest more. So that itself creates your repeat investors. It's not about acquiring new investors. It's about creating an investor pool who can continue to invest with you on a regular basis. So be very vigilant. Those who are ignoring their monthly communications or their timely reports, I think that's not a good business practice. Your report should be out before 10th of the month, 10th of every month for previous month. So you have 10 days. Your operations should have 10 days to kind of close the month and prepare the report and send it out. I think that's very acceptable. If you can distribute on 10th of every month, that would be super awesome. That itself maintains the relationship. The money going out and itself creates a relationship with the investors, basically. And to your database, you are warming up your database. One is investors, second is you're warming up your leads. That's the marketing piece, where you are doing the webinars, you are doing the podcast, you are doing the social media, you are doing meeting the people face to face, you are joining a mastermind. All that is needed, and you cannot do everything. You have to hire a VA, virtual assistants, basically. So that's in a nutshell. I try to give as much information as I could within a short span of 30 minutes. Because I don't want to take too much of everybody's time. But I mean, obviously, we have been doing it for last so many years. There is so much to share. I mean, we can talk about it for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. But if you have any specific need, anything specific you want to talk about, just schedule a call. I mean, free strategy call with us. The first QR code on the left-hand side. Trust me, you will get the value out of it, value out of your time for that. We have underwriting sessions that we do every week on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We have been doing it for last 3-4 years. It's a great resource. Any business, if you know how to underwrite a deal, you are far ahead of others, to be able to analyze a deal, how you can make money on the deal, what are the things, what are the kinks, inputs, outputs of the deal. We talk every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern for at least 1.5 to 2 hours, and that has been going on. We have been having like 50, 60 people in those calls every week. So extremely successful. A lot of people have learned a lot from us, and it's a sharing. We share whatever we can, and obviously we learn a few things from others too. In addition to that, we have a team of 6 coaches. In combined, we have more than 50 years of experience in real estate. We have coaching where we hold your hand. We meet twice a week, Wednesday from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then Friday evening also. Wednesday evening is a regular call, group call. Friday evening is a call to underwrite a deal with you, the deal that you bring to the table. So we do that. In addition to that, you get access to all the 6 coaches. We have 6 coaches who are competent, who can hold your hand and take you to the next level, and plus the networking. So you have 1-year program, and within 1 year, we guarantee that you will land in a deal. If you do not land in a deal within 1 year, we guarantee that we'll continue to coach you, hold your hand for as long as it takes for you to get into a deal. So that's our guarantee from Cash Flow Champs for you to, join our coaching program. Basically, if you are committed to yourself, to your life, connect with us through this QR code on the right-hand side, basically. And let's see, you guys have any questions now? Let me see the, okay. So Charles says, okay, yeah. So Charles says, Charles, thank you so much, Charles. We are scheduled to talk to Paul Sr. on Friday. That's awesome. So in terms of the syndication software, basically there are multiple things. Okay, one is your CRM, and one is your software to manage your distributions, etc. Right? So it depends on where you are in terms of your journey, and I can talk about the more expensive ones or the cheaper ones. We started our journey with, in terms of the CRM, we started the marketing tool that we have. The tool is called Kartra, Kartra. And if you need a link for that tool, it's pretty slick tool. You have everything what you need at one place. You don't need additional subscriptions. So besides Kartra, we have Zoom, and we have Slide Text or Twilio. So Kartra, Zoom, and Twilio, these 3 things take care of your marketing part. Okay, and if you need to subscribe to Kartra, you let me know. We can send you a link through which you can sign up with Kartra, or you can just go to kartra.com and sign up for silver package or whatever. The second thing is manager distribution. We have used Syndication Pro, we have used Invest Next. Now we are inclined to use Cash Flow Portal also. So we have looked at many many tools. There's some very expensive. We are not used them, like IMS. We have used them in some properties, but they're like really expensive ones. So in the beginning, I think Syndication Pro, Invest Next, or Cash Flow Portal, these three probably could be helpful for you. So next question is, what task are you able to delegate to your VA? If I could delegate everything to my VA, but you could start with, like a Google spreadsheet and start thinking about what can I delegate, okay? I mean, to begin with, your social media, your postings on social media, your, bookings, your travel bookings, small things like that, which you can take off. Your emails, that there may be your emails, which, sending the investor presentation out to certain people. I mean, you look at your emails, and half the time, you spend trying to respond to things which somebody else can take off from your shoulder, right? So, I mean, I would just let your VA, give access to those emails to your VA so that he or she can respond, right? So, depending on where you are in your journey, and Daniel, yes, I will send you the link, but to respond to Brian's question, is basically, yes, I would delegate everything, whatever is meaningful. So there are two things. One is income generating activities, and second is minimum wage activities. Write down what are the things that you have to do in a week. Just write down, or what have you been doing. The best thing is, for a week, write down what all have you done, and see which one is a minimum wage activity and which one is an income generating activity. Write down minimum MWG, minimum wage activity, MWA. You write that down. And second is income generating activity. Your focus as a syndicator should be income generating activity, IGA, not MGA. And whatever is MGA, minimum wage activity, you give it to your VA. Basically, let them handle them. I think that would be the best answer I could give you. Is anything which is not, where I'm not able to create income, I should be able to give it to my VA. So I would look for my, just give me 1 second. I am looking for the Kartra sign up link, and I will give it to everybody. Or maybe I'll send it out. I'll send it out with the recording. I'll send that link out also. Just a disclaimer, because we are affiliate with Kartra, we may get like maybe $1 or $2 or whatever. But you don't pay more. I'm just making sure that you understand we are affiliate on Kartra. But I'm not selling Kartra. You're free to use others. There are other softwares like Active Campaign, a little bit more expensive than Kartra. You manage different, you take more subscriptions for things like that. But Kartra has worked exceptionally well for us, so we use that. Before you leave, let's register for the new webinar that we have for next week. register for our next week webinar by scanning this QR code. All right. Thank you so much all. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk next week. Thank you.